Have you ever had this experience? Right after an emotional breakdown, you can snap back to calm in an instant. 1 second you're shouting uncontrollably, feeling utterly miserable and pitiful, and the next, you suddenly cool down, thinking you're being dramatic, even starting to despise yourself, wondering, am I messed up? Is this really necessary over such a trivial thing? You then quickly rein in your emotions, dry your tears, and force yourself to stay composed. You might even feel unfamiliar with the version of yourself that just broke down, as if that person wasn't you at all. At this moment, you seem lucid, but deep down, you're conflicted, like two completely opposite selves are pulling you in different directions. Many people experience this sense of detachment occasionally in their lives. It doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with you. Rather, it's more like a self-protection mechanism your brain activates when it is overwhelmed by emotions, a mild state of dissociation. When someone has long been in an environment where they can't be understood or comforted, and their emotions are ignored, interrupted, or denied repeatedly, the brain gradually learns that having emotions is dangerous and expressing them leads to hurt. As a result, you tend to get distracted easily when doing things. Even when you're engaged in an activity, you often feel mentally fuzzy, as if the world is empty for a moment. You might zone out for ages without knowing what you're doing. But if someone suddenly talks to you, you snap back to the present, wondering how you could have been like that just moments ago. For example, you might be listening intently in class, but after a while, your mind wanders. You can still hear the teacher's voice, but you have no idea what they're saying. Or when you're extremely happy or sad in life, there's always a moment when you feel completely detached, as if another version of you is calmly observing everyone around, their expressions and movements. Even if you were just overwhelmed by emotions, now it's like nothing happened. Your tears might still be flowing, and your face looks sad, but your heart feels calm. You weren't born this way. You just learned to hide your emotions in your subconscious too early. When you were a child, every time you cried, adults might have said, "Why are you crying? What's the use of crying? Can it solve the problem?" You wanted to explain but you were always interrupted. Gradually, you realized that emotions are useless, and speaking up only makes things worse. Or when your family members argued, you might have tried to mediate, only to be brushed off with, "Kids shouldn't meddle in adults' business," so you had to hide secretly, listening to the harsh arguments, feeling scared and helpless. Even now, when someone talks to you, you might feel too awkward to interrupt, even if you're already annoyed and tired, and you just force yourself to listen. Back then, you would also zone out suddenly, your thoughts drifting away. You were physically present, but your mind was long gone. So if you find yourself in this state again, don't rush to label yourself as weird. You're not different from others, and there's nothing wrong with you. Think about how many emotions you've had to keep to yourself over the years. When you're wronged, you tell yourself it's fine. When you're angry, you say it's not necessary. When you want to cry, you tell yourself don't be melodramatic. You always get used to keeping your worst emotions to yourself, preferring to be tortured by repeated internal friction rather than venting your anger, disappointment, or sadness to avoid hurting others. However, unexpressed emotions never disappear into thin air. They're just buried alive and will erupt in uglier ways one day. So stop punishing yourself with your kindness and stop reflecting on yourself over and over again. You can definitely vent your emotions. So what if you break down and cry? That's the most authentic and natural version of yourself.